That's okay.
Is that okay? That's good. Good evening, councillors. I'd like to call this ordinary meeting of Sandwich Town Council to order this evening, and item number 1 is the Chair's opening remarks, and I've got quite a few to raise with you at the moment. So I'd like to say first of all, thank you to all those who attended the Mayor Making Evening. I thought it was absolutely excellent, and I'm very grateful to our Town Clerk Jill for organising it all and getting it all set up. For the first time, it's a very traditional ceremony, so it's very difficult to know what happens when and how, like that. I'd also like to apologise. I don't know if the councillors, everybody's got their councillor emails, mainly for the newer councillors, but if you haven't got your emails, it's just due to they have to be set up by the IT company. So Claire's done her bit, but it's the IT company have to do the setting of them up. So if anybody hasn't got their emails presently, it's not Jill's fault, but Jill's chasing up on that. So, indeed.
Just to say, I have an update this evening. Those iPads should be ready for the new councillors on Wednesday. So you should get your iPad and your email all confirmed on Wednesday. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that update there. So, also another item I just wanted to say, because it's good to have really good, innovative councillors and full of ideas and eager to move things on and improve the town really good. But could you just copy, as well as sending things through to the town clerk, could you copy me in as well? And I'll tell you the reason for this is because like Jeff, I'm one of the old boys, and just for an example, experienced councillors. So, and what it is in this town, I mean, in my duration, we must have had at least 5 traffic surveys, and every time we've had a new council come in, they always say, oh, can we do a traffic survey? And so then we pay £2,500–3,000 for a traffic survey, and we've got one sitting in the cupboard from 2 or 3 years ago. So if you've got ideas, I really welcome your ideas and innovation, but if you can just make sure you copy the mayor in as well as the town clerk, so we can say, oh, that's a good idea, or if we've got that already, so we don't duplicate works there. The 2 other things that I was going to raise is also to do with staffing, and I know I've said this before, but I must say it again, is we've only got our town clerk for 3 days a week, and the finance officer is only doing finance now because there's so much to do. She stood in for us previously, and she was trying to cover the town clerk's role as well, but she really needs to concentrate on the finance. There's a lot for her to do, so we really are sort of down to the bare minimum on staffing, so please don't expect too much or overload the town clerk too much. And I just wanted to say the recruitment, the advert's gone out for the town clerk now, so that's actually out, and we're expecting applications to come in. And we've got a closure date of Friday for the applications, and then we've got interviews on the 9th of June. So the whole process to do with recruiting a permanent town clerk is already underway, thanks to Councillor Wiles, and it's already underway, and hopefully by the 9th of June we'll actually know when somebody can start. But once again, that's relevant to the notice period that the person has. And because this is a professional post, it could be a minimum of a month, but it could be as much as 3 months. So we really need to really be patient, keep our fingers crossed there, if that's okay. And then the last item, before I bore you too much, is to do with the Richborough waste transfer site. And what I want to say about this is, obviously, we're all being inundated by members of the public, residents and that, saying, what's Sandwich Town Council doing about the Richborough transfer site? What we need to do is, we've got the annual town meeting on Wednesday, and we've got Councillor Sue Chandler, and we've got the 2 DDC councillors are going to be there as well. So what we need to do is we need to wait until Wednesday's meeting, wait to see what comes out of Wednesday's meeting, what will KCC be able to do for us, what they're going to do to support the town for its services, and then after that meeting we can then decide what Sandwich Town Council will do ASAP. So then we can decide whether we'll have an extraordinary meeting, set up a working group, or take things forward from that. So, and I know Councillor Friend has already started things off. So after Wednesday, we can get together. It might be an extraordinary meeting, and I'll say to you, can you make, whenever it is, we need 3 days notice,
Yes,
don't we? So we'd need 3 days notice, so it'd probably be early next week, but we'd be able to get started on that. So just bear with me with that, so with that meeting there. So thank you very much. Item number 2 is apologies for absence received.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Councillor Sue Chandler from Kent County Council gives her apologies. She has a commitment in her diary. Councillor Fortescue has a travel commitment. Councillor Ungerson has a travel commitment. Councillor Marie has a work commitment. Councillor Gray has a travel commitment. And Councillor Breen has a travel commitment.
Thank you very much for that. Item number 3, we have declarations of interest, and this is to receive any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interests from members in respect to the business that will be transacted on the agenda tonight. If you have any interest,
Franklin. Number 12. We need to,
Thank you very much. Okay, and that brings us to item number 4, the minutes of the full council meeting, and this is attachment number 1.
Sorry, Mr Mayor. Just to say, the 24th of April were.
I was just going to. I was just going to say that actually when I dug it out actually. So that's the 11th of May. Oh, it's 24th of April there. Okay. So as my efficient town clerk has stated, 24th of May was before the term of office for the new councillors. So I need two of the councillors that were previously on.
Sorry, Mr Mayor. So the minutes on the
24th of April
have already been approved at the ATCM.
Ah, right.
So this shouldn't have been on that item. So if you can just receive those, that's fine.
Just receive those, okay. Okay. Thank you very much. So we're just receiving the minutes of the 24th of April tonight. We don't have to recommend or approve those. So I believe Councillor Morehouse's hand was up first. Sorry, Councillor Morehouse, did you have a question or query?
Yes, please. Referring to item STC 0423-4, can you provide an update on procurement of the road sign at King Street, please?
Town Clerk?
Yeah. It's something that I haven't had the capacity to address at the moment, but it is something that is on my list for next week. Councillor Morehouse, thank you.
Secondly, 0423-13, referring to the vehicle crime and antisocial behaviour that occurred the weekend before our last meeting, and bearing in mind what you just told us about staffing issues, could I also recommend for the sake of continuity that we wait until the appointment of the permanently qualified town clerk before we go ahead with that action plan.
Yeah.
It would
Fine.
be prudent.
Thank you.
And thirdly, after our last meeting, we went through 3 quotations for some work to Monk's Wall, and I see they're not on the minutes.
Ah, right. Well, that's
STBF or STC?
yeah, that's isn't it?
We have one from MRF Contracting, one from Rhino Plant, one from Ovenden.
That's correct.
Yeah, I have to. I'll have to look back. The contractor was, the information was communicated to the gentleman at Monk's Wall, but I will have to check that back. Thank you.
Could you possibly go back to MRF Contracting, because there's 2 very important details missing off their quotation. One is their CRM, and the other is the quotation date and the expiry date. Is that quotation valid for 7 days, 14 days, 60 days, not 90 days, whatever.
That's
But
true.
it is important that we have that information before we.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, I'll bring that back to you.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have you got that all down? Okay.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Okay. Councillor Chuka.
Thank you. On item 04.
Oh, sorry, could I ask that in this meeting that you actually stand for when you speak? Sorry, that's the correct protocol. Sorry, thank you.
On 04/23/12, just for completeness, there was an action that was to write to the cabinet member for education and skills. I just wanted to ask whether they did respond because I can't see a note on that.
Is it town clerk to speak?
No, I didn't receive any response.
Can we make a record of that so as we
Okay.
include it, please? Thank you.
Councillor Wiles, did you have a question?
Same
Oh,
question.
oh, same question. Thank you very much. And then there was the one on the 11th of May.
Yes, that's the annual town council meeting.
Meeting, so we do need to
Yeah.
do that one. So. And then item 4, there's the second item is to approve the minutes of the annual town council meeting held on the 11th of May 2023, and this was the meeting that was held on the Thursday, which is really the town council's AGM. So you were all there for this one, so I just need a proposer and a seconder to say that these minutes are correct.
Propose we approve the minutes.
Thank you.
Councillor
That's
Wiles.
Councillor Wiles. And seconding, it's Councillor Pennington.
Thank you.
seconding those. So, and can I have a vote on those to say that that's correct, please? And you've got
Thank you.
one abstention,
One
which is
abstention,
Councillor Moore.
Thank you.
So the reason I'm abstaining, Mr. Mayor, is because I wasn't there.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Are you talking about matters arising from these minutes?
We're actually just checking the minutes to see if they're a true record of what happened on the evening.
No, it's just on to raise it.
Did you have some issues to raise
No,
on the
no,
minutes?
it's just that it says there, excuse me, it says about the committees. There's one little committee, it's only a little, some people might not think it's important, but it's the allotments committee.
Oh,
And it's quite important because they do have a budget, and there's 2 councillors and 5 allotment holders, and they meet out roughly every 10 weeks, quarterly meetings, and I think Councillor Ray was interested at one time, because you used to be on it, didn't you, Mr
I
Mayor?
did,
We
indeed.
don't want to let it go because
No.
we don't want to let it slip
No.
because we've had a lot of problem with the allotments over the years, and now they're coming on very
Indeed.
well. So
Yeah.
right.
Town clerk?
Yes, so I believe that's an allotments working group. I think
Well,
it's
it's a committee as
Is
well.
it an actual committee?
It's a town council committee.
I was told it was a working group. Okay,
No.
thank you.
It's not.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Wiles,
Sorry,
did you have something to
I mean,
say?
it might well be an informal group that meets, but it's not a formal
A full
committee
committee.
within the terms of reference.
No.
So if it needs to be constituted, then the review of the terms of reference will need to take
Will need
account
to-
of that.
Indeed, that's
Well,
correct.
It's been done in a few years, and it does have its own budget, doesn't it? There is a budget allowed for the allotment work.
Yeah,
And it's something we don't want to let slip because we
No.
had loads of trouble up the allotments.
no, definitely.
And now we've spent a fortune on fencing and everything else, especially with that new housing estate.
Yeah,
And I think all the allotments are full now, so it's something that we
That's
just
good.
keep an eye on.
that's good news. Yeah, we will maintain that, Councillor Franklin, so could we bring that up on the agenda for
Yes.
next meeting? That's okay. That's super, thank you very much for that. I'm not sure where I am, I don't know if we voted. Did we vote on the 11th of May ones?
Yes.
We did, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay, that's super. Okay. That's good. Right, item number 5 are the payment schedules. Before I start on the payment schedules, we're going to take item number 12 first of all, which was the mayor's expenses, and they must come in this order because the responsible financial officer has guided us tonight and said that item 12 must become before item number 5.
Okay.
Otherwise, we will be paying for something that we haven't discussed.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay, yeah.
understandable? So, okay, so if Councillor Franklin leaves the chamber, thank you.
You want me to close the door, Mr. Mayor? Do I need to close the
Um,
door?
Close the door.
Oh, super.
That's all, boys.
Yes. I don't know how good his hearing is. Sorry about that. So so we need to take item number 12 to discuss this matter, first of all, before we actually say we're paying for it. So this is item number 12. Oh, do I need to vote to say that we're changing the order of the agenda?
No, that's absolutely fine. You directed.
Oh,
Yeah.
super. Okay, then. That's brilliant. So item number 12 under the Mayor's discretion is Mayor's expenses. And can I please point out it's not this Mayor's expenses, it's the previous ones. And it's to receive and consider a report from the responsible financial officer regarding payment of expenses related to the King's coronation. And this is attachment number 6. And we do need a decision on this from the councillors, and you are allowed to discuss this. If you stand up nicely and put your hand up, we can discuss this if anybody has got any issues to raise on this one. So, do we have anybody? Oh, sorry, Councillor Wiles.
So I presume we have invoices for these items?
Right, I'm not sure.
Yes.
Okay.
In which case I propose we accept these costs and move on to the next item.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Pennington. Oh, sorry.
Yes, I would like to second it. I was very pleased, and I think the town is honoured to have been represented at the coronation. I think it's something we should not just let pass by. I think citizens would be pleased to know that that happened, and I'm grateful that we were represented at such an important occasion.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Carter.
Yes, I believe we always, if any expense like this, you have to apply beforehand. You can't have expense afterwards. And also the budget coming up this year's budget is not correct. Because I read through all the budgets so far. Mayor's budget expenses are very, very small amount for the year event you're able to. If you take that chunk out, not much left for this year's expense. See, like, before the election, we had issues. For example, we had Councillor Anderson and Councillor Gray. So had expenses was after the event happened. We couldn't ground them, so they have to pay for themselves. So this
That is
event
true,
happened.
actually,
Yeah, they had to
yeah.
apply beforehand. Expenses like this had to be applied beforehand.
That's true.
We can't pay afterwards because that's my.
But it's within the budget. Surely it's
No.
permissible.
It's, well, even, do you have an update on this at all?
I'm
Is
just
that
saying,
for this
Karen has assured me there is capacity in the budget. And I think that the problem was that the short notice of the actual coronation invitation coming through meant that there wasn't an opportunity to have a meeting. So I appreciate those comments as well. But I think there was the time, there wasn't any time for actually calling a meeting.
But it's a, sorry, it's a
I can give you
privilege
a
yourself
second.
to go attending. I mean, I know it's on behalf of Sandwich. If I've been invited to go, I would go pay for myself. I wouldn't be expecting the Sandwich people pay for me to go to events like this. It's a privilege for you to go. We voted the mayor to go, but it should be coming out of Sandwich people, not local people's money.
Sorry.
That's my opinion.
Councillor Wiles?
Sorry, I don't think we should expect the Mayor of Sandwich to pay for such costs themselves, because that would preclude or exclude anyone on a limited income from being mayor.
Sure, thank you very much for that. Was there any other points to raise on this matter?
I think
Councillor Thorne.
due to the nature of the event, it's a one-off thing and it should be honoured and, it's not going to be something that recurs. And I think the point that Karen Clark made, that there wasn't a notice and, to go follow, the proper channels.
Okay, indeed, thank you for that. So I'm going to go ahead with this. I've been told that it is legally allowed and that it is covered by the current budget. So we'll go ahead with this. If there's no more discussion, we'll vote on this matter, if that's okay. So those in favour of the proposal is from Councillor Wiles and seconded by Councillor Pennington. And those in favour of the proposal, please.
Thank you.
Okay, just one abstention there.
Okay.
Okay, so that's passed.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay. Would somebody like to go and get the previous mayor in, please? Thank you.
Tell him it's been denied.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Phil, that's a lot, you've got me.
Oh.
So, to the point, Mr Mayor, if I may, there's two cars parked at the bus stop, bus come, stopped right in the middle of the road.
Oh gosh, dreadful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I believe that's on the agenda for Wednesday.
There's a bus stop over there, well, they're taxi racks as well, aren't they?
Indeed, that's correct. So, thank you. Okay then. Right. So now we're resuming to item number 5, which is the payment schedules, and we've got item number 5A, which is to receive and note the payments for mid-May, totalling £18,761.40. Those payments which are not supported by a minute reference have been authorised by an officer with delegated powers of expenditure, and this will be attachment 3A. So I need somebody to propose and second this item.
Propose we receive and approve that schedule.
Okay, thank you. And could I have a seconder?
Yeah, I'll see.
Okay, Councillor Franklin, second that. And can I have a vote on item 5A, please? All those in favour? 6,
3 abstentions.
2, 3 abstentions. That's it. Thank you then. Okay, that's passed. In favour. Item 5B is to receive and approve the schedule of payments for May, totalling £5,520.67, and this will be attachment 3B. Councillor Black?
Yes, Mr Mayor. As a newbie to this, I'm completely bamboozled by this, and I would ask, are there going to be any proposals to give us some induction? Because I have not got a clue as to which bits are appropriate, what procedure is, and so on. Now, I appreciate the staff are extremely busy, and I wouldn't want to stop any of that. But I do think that certainly the new councillors will need a briefing on this, because otherwise I don't know what I'm voting for, and that's why I'm going to be abstaining.
No, indeed. Thank you very much for that, Councillor Black. If I, Town Clerk,
Yes.
did you want to speak first?
Thank you.
If I could just jump in.
Okay.
I'd just like to agree with Ian, particularly that a number of items, it's very questionable about where they are in terms of the spend versus the annual budget. So some are overspent already. It's just knowing the background to that, and also the projections over the year, whether it will stay within budget month on month.
Yeah.
So it's endorsing Ian.
Did you want to go first on me? Yeah, you
Sorry.
go first. Town
Thank
Clerk.
you. So yes, I've spoken to the RFO about this, and there will be some training for the new councillors and any existing councillors if they want a refresher. Because I know that she did do training last year, I'm
She
told.
did,
Yes,
that's
yes.
correct. Yeah.
And yes, with forecasting, I've said that that is something that we definitely work to, especially quarterly. But if we could do it monthly, that'd be even better. And please bear with us. It is all in hand, and I appreciate your patience. So thank you.
And I just wanted to also add that over the years we have improved how the finances are presented and how they're actually carried out. So the attachment that you see is the improvement on what we had before. And I must say the responsible financial officer is a qualified officer. So a bit like with the town clerk on legal matters, it's up to her before she brings something before council to check and make sure it's legal. So for example, when the grants come through, the grant will come in and the responsible financial officer will look at the grant, we'll check that the company is legitimate, it's not for profit, for example, like that. So the RFO will make checks there. And but if you do have any issues with any individual items, which I had previously when I was sitting on the council floor, then please do raise those items. So if suddenly there was something for 100 boxes of Havana cigars, I would expect one of you, that's your job here, is to question why we're buying something that the council shouldn't be buying. So Councillor Black, you're totally right. and as soon as the council settles down, we just give us a month or two to get things settled. And the RFO did do training, as the town clerk said last time around. So I promise you she will do it again. Thank you very much for that. I haven't voted on this one.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
You received
So-
it, yeah.
Could I have a proposer and seconder for item 5B, please? And that's it. Councillor Morehouse and Councillor Pennington. That's it. And could we vote on item 5B? Those in favour?
Thank you.
You've got 4. So, and that was in favour.
Thank you.
So up to 4. So thank you there. And item 5C of the payment schedules, and this is for the council to confirm nomination of 2 signatories to authorise the end of May payment schedules on Bankline. I've actually put myself forward for this,
Okay.
so I said to the RFO that I would do this, but we need a secondary person. Previously, I believe it was Councillor Franklin and Councillor Sampson, wasn't it?
Yeah, thank you.
Please,
I've
Councillor.
actually been doing it for 6 years, and the RFO thought I might need to change, but I said I'm always there for backup if you need something around the corner. But if
Okay.
anyone else wants to have a go at doing
So
it,
would, all right. Oh, okay.
but,
So did anybody else want to stand? If not, we'd take Councillor Franklin. Councillor Pennington?
Sorry, I understood there was a vacancy, and I was quite happy to
Oh, right.
fill that vacancy.
Oh, okay then. Oh, sure. Okay then.
just
So
in
that,
case you're on holiday or something.
that being myself and Councillor Pennington. And you're all set up on Bankline, are you? Currently? You have to be set up on, you have an electronic device, and you have to.
I think so. I'll need to
Well,
discuss
we
it.
need to confirm that you are, because the payment schedules are becoming up quite soon, and the RFO would just send out an email and say you need to do this now. So we need to do them as soon as possible.
Miss Bell, I'm quite prepared, Councillor Pennington, because it might be, it's the wages, isn't it, every month?
Exactly, that's
so
what I
Councillor
mean.
Pennington isn't set up, or any other ones. Because she just wanted, I think, 6 councillors with these little devices.
That's what I'm coming on to
Yeah,
next, actually.
Yeah,
That's
so
the next
anyway, if
item.
there's any problem, I'll do it with you, but,
Okay.
see, we could,
So-
and NatWest are rather slow.
Oh, yeah, sure. So should we actually have Councillor
Franklin.
because we know he's set
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
okay? For that item there. And then I'll be coming on to the signatories, that's later on the agenda, so there. So item 5C, can we just, Councillor Morehouse?
Second Councillor Pennington before he changes his mind.
Thank you very much. So can we vote on the, we're actually installing Councillor Morehouse at this point, in case Councillor Pennington's not set up, we have to be 100% clear because it will be the salary run. So we're actually, for this month, we're actually be taking Councillor Franklin and myself, and then Councillor Pennington thereafter, if that's okay. So can I have a proposer and seconder for Councillor Franklin and myself for this month?
Propose it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Second.
Shooter. And second from Spring. Oh, that's it. Okay. And can we vote in favour of that, please? Thank you. So that's fully in favour. Thank you very much for that. So, and item 5D is the council to confirm nomination of 2 signatories to authorise the mid-June payment schedules on Bankline as well. So I don't know if Councillor Pennington will be set up on that. Mid-June.
It'd be the same.
I think it can take a number of weeks, is what the RFI has told me. So I think if you've got people that are definitely set up, that will be
Use
the
them
same.
first.
Yeah.
Okay then. So, Councillor
Mr
Wild.
Mayor, yeah, I'm set up on Bankline, so I'm willing to do the mid-June,
Oh, okay then.
Right.
Okay.
assuming it is in mid-June.
It could be myself and Councillor Wiles, if that's right. Can I just mention with this Bankline thing is just to obviously it's pretty obvious, but if you were going to be on holiday or you've got any holidays booked, please don't put yourself forward to authorising, because at the end of the month it's the bank salaries, and mid-month it will be the other items that we vote for on the schedules. Okay then. So it sounds obvious, but please don't put yourself forward if you're on holiday. So thank you very much. So that's item 5D. Can we vote on item 5D? Those in favour? Councillor Wiles and Councillor Carter. Councillor P. Carter as well. That's all in favour. So I've got to make that distinction there. Thank you very much, everybody. So that's passed. So. And lovely, my favourite part of the evening. Item number 6 is public participation. and this is where I get to drink my tea. And we have a 15-minute session set aside for members of the public to make representations at the meeting in respect of the business on the agenda. Individual representation should not exceed 3 minutes. Written notice of the desire to exercise the right to speak, together with the topic to be addressed, must be given to the interim town clerk prior to 1600 hours on the Friday preceding the meeting. Interim town clerk, do we have any members of the public? We don't. Oh God.
I did, I put my request in weeks ago.
Sorry,
Town clerk.
are you Nina Cobb?
No,
No.
oh, Sally Hater.
Oh, sorry, Sally Hater. That's fine, sorry, I must have missed that one.
Oh, right.
Okay, thank you, that's fine, that's fine.
All right. Oh, well, Sally Hater, would you like to take the floor and have your 3 minutes, please? I don't know if we've got time.
I'd like to just say, which is very boring, I've got cataracts, so when I read, I'm a little bit slow now until I get them done, in case you think I'm waffling. Right, good evening everyone. I attend the meetings organised by Kent Police regarding prevention of violence against girls and women. The last one was held in April. During the meeting, we were informed there are to be 10 new fully qualified police officers stationed in the Dover area, 5 to commence in June and 5 to commence in September. I immediately told the commander, who was our chair, that I had been lobbying for a fully qualified officer to be allocated to Sandwich for approximately 5 years. And could we please have one of the new Fab 5? Although he couldn't possibly give me an answer then, and I was somewhat concerned, as he said it depended, amongst other things, on the level of reported crime. Somehow it never seems to be acknowledged that having a permanent, highly visible officer acts as a deterrent. Prevention has always been and should remain a key priority for the police, and in my experience, basing decisions on asking questions and noting statistics does not always produce quality results because A, it would depend on the questions asked, and B, these may lead to a distortion of the reality. I am therefore asking the Council to lobby our MP, the Chief Constable, the Police and Crime Commissioner and the Dover Commander for one of these officers to be designated to Sandwich, and in doing so, could they please highlight the following points. Sandwich is situated on an estuary leading to the Channel, which is roughly a mere 20 miles from the continent. We have boats mooring here, and I am aware the Council would like to expand on this for the benefit of the town. We have a regular and reliable, except during strikes, train service, together with excellent road links to London. We have good bus routes to major towns within East Kent. These not only benefit residents, but also those of a more nefarious disposition and are indicators as to why we need a visible police presence. As a tourist destination, we host people interested in history, as our town is full of historic features. We have 6 festivals during the summer. We have new amusement parks either already developed or in the developmental stage, which will hopefully draw in many more visitors and a wider variety of visitors, all of whom will not only want to enjoy themselves, but will want to feel safe whilst doing so. What better way to promote that feeling and our town than having a permanent police presence? The council could also encourage locals to consider training to be a special who could then support our designated officer. And I would like to finish as I started by highlighting the safety of girls and women, but tonight especially the girls and women of Sandwich. Having our own designated, fully qualified police officer will undoubtedly go a long way in ensuring their safety. Thank you for listening, and I hope you will be extremely proactive on this issue.
Thank you very much for raising that matter tonight. Thank you. So, item number 7. Currently, we don't actually give answers to any of the members of the public that actually come, for the new councillors this is, that come up and speak. But if anybody wants to make a proposal that we do have to give answers to public speakers, that can actually be proposed at a future agenda meeting. So if anybody wants to change that, they're quite welcome to, if they wish to. It was something that was changed a few years ago. So, Councillor Black, did you have a...
Isn't this something that the Committee on Standing Orders and Procedures should include?
Indeed, yeah, I believe that is the
Will
case.
include.
Yeah, thank you very much for that point. That's really good. So item number 7, we have the verbal report from our Dover District Councillors on matters relating to Sandwich, and we've got 2 Dover District Councillors, and I'm going to rotate you each week. So for a change, could I have Councillor Mark Morehouse first this evening and Councillor Dan Friend second?
Right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you'll no doubt be aware, the result of the local elections held on Thursday the 4th of May resulted in the Labour Party taking control of DDC for the first time this century. And they've only had one 4-year term since the District Council was created back in 1973. That was from 1995 to 1999. So they have 17 seats, and the Conservatives hold 14 seats, and there's one independent councillor who remains unnamed. I attended the annual council meeting held at 6 p.m. on Wednesday the 17th of May, when Councillor Gordon Cowan, who was the ward member for St Radigan's in Dover, was elected chair, with Councillor David Cronk, the ward member for Middle Deal, elected vice chair. Councillor Kevin Mills, the ward member for Buckland, was elected leader, with Councillor Jamie Pout, ward member for Aylsham, elected deputy leader. Councillor Trevor Bartlett, ward member for Little Stour and Ashtone, was elected DDC opposition leader, with Councillor Chris Benson, the ward member for Warmer, elected deputy opposition leader. In maintaining my commitment to the Bell principles of political independence, I abstain from voting either for or against any of the aforementioned 6 candidates. The next full council meeting will be held at DDC on Wednesday the 19th of July. The Labour Party have allocated one of their 8 seats on the licensing committee to me, so I'm on the licensing committee. The only other issue is I received an email this afternoon that the community routes van will be here on the quay on Thursday the 25th of May, this coming Thursday, between 10 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Morehouse. And Councillor Friend, could you give your report, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, councillors. Just following on from Mrs. Hayter's public address, we did have the District Commander to the Overview Scrutiny Committee at Dover District Council, where he did confirm that each ward within the Dover District area would have a named warranted officer that delivered on the policing model that has been going through some changes over the last year. We have asked for some further details, and that will come out by the end of this month. So when I have that information, I'll be able to pass that on. Thanks to Councillor Morehouse for giving the updates as to the mechanics of what happened the other night. The only addition I have to that is, whilst Councillor Morehouse was on the licensing committee, I've been appointed to the Shadow Cabinet and the Overview and Scrutiny Committee. And it's a delight to be able to join those committees, holding councillors and officers to account for what we need within our area. The main topic that I've been asked about currently is regarding the proposed closure of Richborough Household Waste and Recycling Centre. And although this is not a Dover District Council responsibility, it is within our remit to help and support residents with their concerns. The consultation on this item will be crucial, with the 12-week period set to commence in mid-July. I've already started leafleting residents with further details and establishing a mailing list to be able to alert as many people as possible to the consultation as and when it opens. Residents will have their say. We need to ensure that our responses make it clear how needed this service is. We have a great group of volunteers helping to distribute, and we welcome help from anyone and everyone. I'd also like to publicly thank Councillor Sue Chandler for her support in launching this campaign to retain the Richborough Household Waste and Recycling Centre. There are lots of groups working towards ensuring a robust response across the county to these proposals, including movements from the Green Party, the Liberal Democrats and Labour. This is an issue that has the potential to impact across the county. There's already some good communications happening between areas, and the wider the message can be shared and the more collaborative we can work together, the better. That's all I have to update. As with the elections, officer decisions and council decisions have been limited as of the recent period. So as and when stuff happens, I will communicate with you, Mr. Mayor, and share information via the town clerk as usual.
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much for your report, Councillor Friend. And I'm hoping that with two such good DDC councillors that we will have people that are representing this town doing the best to get this town the services and facilities that they need. So thank you very much for that. Item number 8. Sue Chandler's not here, is she? So, oh, big pardon, Councillor Black?
Yes, one of the things that this committee, the working group on the standing orders also wants to look at is the right to have a dialogue with representatives from the district and Kent and any other visitors, because it is a little bit one-sided, we think, that we are not in a position to have that dialogue.
That's correct. That's correct. Once again, Councillor Black, this is something that has been changed over recent years, because recently, going back probably about 4 or 5 years, we were able to have a dialogue with our councillors and question them afterwards.
Could you refer me to any minutes to that effect, please, because that would be very useful for the committee.
To look that up, yeah, I'm sure we can say about that. Councillor Friend, would you like to enlighten us?
That, councillors are free to contact me, Councillor Morehouse, Councillor Chandler, anyone in between meetings. Not everything happens in the 2 hours once a month. So.
Thank you very much for that, Councillor Friend. So, item number 8, we do not have a Kent County Councillor in the chamber, so we can't take that any further at all. Item number 9 is updates from councillors, and this is to receive and note further updates from councillors on meetings that they have attended as nominated as representatives of the council. And so these are meetings, this isn't going to sandwich knitting circle or anything like that. This is particularly meetings that you've undertaken which are of a council nature, and you want to bring them back to this council. Under discretion, if you do go to a particular meeting, so there was a public transport meeting in the town, but you didn't go as a councillor, you could actually still raise the matter here, and we could find out more about that issue there. On this point, I just wanted to say that I, myself and my lovely mayoress, attended the mayor-making ceremony for the Mayor of Folkestone last week, and which was very enjoyable. And tomorrow, myself and the mayoress are actually attending the mayor-making at Faversham as well. And as well as the buffet and odd glass of wine you get for this, it is a very good chance to actually network with the other councillors from the other towns. So anything that I pick up or learn from going to these different events as mayor, I will be bringing back to the town. So I gave a breakdown to the town clerk last Thursday on the mayor making at Folkestone, because it was held, they don't actually have a proper council chamber, they they actually meet, I don't know if Councillor Franklin went, but they actually meet in a cinema. And so it was quite unusual, and myself and the Mayoress were waiting for when the popcorn was going to come around. So, but we did extensively network with the other Cinque Ports mayors and mayoresses. So, Councillor Tudor.
Thank you. Very opportune, I suppose, going to Faversham, because they obviously are impacted by the KCC proposals around
Indeed.
household waste. So it'd be great to network with the people there and see how they might be approaching things, and whether there's any crossovers, any information you can bring back to us.
Indeed, that'd be most useful. Thank you very much for raising that. So, Councillor Mallett.
Just passing on from Councillor Marie, he had a meeting with Sandwich Twinning Association with regard to the weekend coming up. He wanted to pass on that from Siobhan Matthews that they are very short of volunteers at the moment, and generally the call is out there for volunteers to help on that weekend. That's the second weekend in June. And from myself, you might know that I'm a parish councillor in Woodensborough. There was one particular planning application that we discussed, which was very appropriate to relevant to Sandwich. I thought I'd pass it on. It's another log store for the Discovery Park biomass plant that was going to be on the Sandwich Ash Road. Now, we've objected to that on the grounds, on various grounds, one of them being it's industrial in what is increasingly a leisure area. The other one was that it gives the wrong impression for people coming from Canterbury, as many will do, with regard to what Sandwich is involved in. So while most people won't have any idea what the log store is, for those who do, I think we're all aware that some people have a concern about the motives. So we did object on that for Sandwich's sake.
Oh, super. Thank you very much for that report, Councillor Mallett. Oh, Councillor Franklin?
Yeah, we haven't had a proper meeting at the White Mill for quite a while, so I actually went down there Friday and visited. I mean, councillors are probably aware that the scaffolding that's been up there, they've done a fantastic job taking that UPVC cladding off that's lasted for 60 years. They did a very good job, even though it looked a bit unsightly, but it's all clad in wood now, painted. The brilliant carpenter down the joiner, they've made 8 new windows, so very shortly that scaffolding will come down. The cap is finished, so I believe end of June they'll be getting the crane in to get the cap back up in place. And then after that, it's just what's progress. So I do encourage every one of you, on Friday morning, if you've got time, pop down the White Mill because they'll be very pleased to see you. And you should get a cup of tea and perhaps a cake. Not always cakes available, Mr. Mayor, but Friday morning, the wonderful game.
Thank you very much for that, Councillor Franklin. And I believe you had a very good chauffeur who took you to the national meals at the White Mill, didn't you?
Yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah, so,
I knew that was.
yeah, no. So yeah, I forgot to add that, but I'm glad Councillor Franklin has said that. Councillor Franklin and I attended, they had a national meals weekend, and it was really exceptional down at the White Mill. They put stalls on, they had guides, they had everybody there, didn't they? And the White Mill, I mean, just for those that are new to the council, the White Mill is actually owned by Sandwich Town Council, but we've got a fantastic set of volunteers down at the White Mill that actually undertake all the work. And I've forgotten the chap's name, but the carpenter chap, as I was trying to leave and actually get some lunch, he took me into the carpentry workshop and he was showing me what he's working on currently. And I keep asking him, I think he's about 84, and he's building parts of the mechanism that actually make the mill work. So these volunteers are so dedicated, it's totally unbelievable. If you do get time, as Councillor Franklin said, please do get down there and support them at the White Mill. It's very important now. So thank you very much. So, okay, that's good. Okay, so item number 10, we have financial information. 10A, to receive the petty cash statement as of the 31st of March 2023, which is attachment 4A. We can take these items, if anybody wants to propose it, en bloc, But if anybody has any items to raise individually in these items, then we can take them individually. So previously, the previous council used to take this item en bloc. So this would be items 10A, 10B and 10C. But if anybody has got an item to raise individually in any of this financial information, then you are at liberty to raise them individually. So would anybody, Councillor Miles?
I propose we take them on block and receive and note these statements of account.
Thank you very much. And could I have somebody to second that? Councillor Pennington? Thank you very much. Okay. And then can I vote on that proposal of taking these on block and they're accepted, please? 3 abstentions on that one. Thank you very much. That is passed. Item number 11 is bank account signatories that I promised you earlier, and this is to receive and consider a report from the responsible financial officer as to the bank account signatories, and 2 decisions are required here. And we need, first of all, recommendation 1 is 3 or 4 councillors are requested to volunteer to be bank signatories. And item number 2, that all councillors and staff no longer serving on the council or the charity should be removed immediately as signatories on the bank mandate, which I put forward to the responsible financial officer at the change there. Did we know how many signatories we have already? Because she's asking for 4, isn't she?
Yes, I think that there's only 3 of you currently, so that's why
so we need one more. Yeah. So did we have anybody else who was available to act as a, I wonder if that included...
I think she, the RFA has 3 or 4 requested so that you have ample.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, to cover holidays.
Yeah.
So could we have at least another 2 or possibly 3 that would be available? So, thank you, Councillor Ripley and Councillor Tudor. So, thank you very
Councillor
much.
Pennington.
And Councillor Pennington as well. Sorry about that. And item number 2 is obviously it's quite common sense, but it's that we remove any previous councillors that did have access to this, so that they no longer have access to the bankline system. So I need you to vote on item 1 and item 2 of this item, please. Oh, I need a proposer and seconder first. So Councillor Wiles and Councillor Morehouse. And so all those in favour of items recommendations 1 and 2, please. Unanimous.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, big one. I didn't see that. One abstention there. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, signatories. Item number 12 we've already done. And then item number 13 is the Bay Hall insurance. And this is to receive and note a report from the responsible financial officer regarding insurance of Bay Hall to note. And this is attachment number 7. And can I just first of all make sure for the new councillors, I don't know if you're aware, but Bay Hall is, for those of you that live in Strand Street, you're probably aware, I don't know if also Councillor Mallet was knowledgeable, but Bay Hall is a bungalow that's further down Strand Street, almost opposite the highways depot, that was gifted from one of the residents of Sandwich to Sandwich Town Council, and in the will for the person that gifted it to us, it was said that they wanted it to be used by the council for community use. So we're keeping the property and maintaining it. But this report from the responsible financial officer here is about the insurance on this property, and the recommendation is to keep the property insured with Millard Insurance unless the premium can be reduced by using another insurer whilst keeping the same level of cover. Now, I was actually going to propose that we actually get 3 quotes, because I don't know how long Millard's Insurance have been doing the insurance on this. I guess it's only a year, because I think it's a year since the will came out. But I think we really should have a minimum of 3 quotes, which is standard for this sort of practice. Yeah. And Millard's may have actually been asked to do this quite quickly, because when we were told by the solicitors that the property was ours, we had to insure it immediately. I believe that's the case. Councillor Chuka.
And it builds on that point in the sense that the insurance that's in place runs till July in any case, so it would be unwise to look at changing it now. So I wasn't quite sure what we were being asked to agree, because I would expect coming up to the middle of July, we'd go through a process of evaluating the best value out there in terms of the insurance policy.
Indeed, thank you on that. That's Town
And
Clerk.
so this was a report to note, because obviously the last meeting there was a query about whether there was insurance for the property. So that's why I asked the responsible financial officer to clarify.
Yes.
Okay.
But based on that, would we have enough time to get quotes within, so if we've only got about 6 weeks, would we have enough time?
Yes, you have got enough time, and I'm sure that I'll be talking to the RFO about getting some comparable quotes ready for probably the June meeting.
Yes.
I'll super, thank you for that, so that's okay. So could I have a proposer and seconder to note this report? Councillor Morehouse and Councillor Franklin to second that. Encourage her, yeah. And all those in favour of noting this report, please.
Thank you.
So in favour this time, thank you very much. So, item number 14, collaboration commitment, and this is members are invited to personally commit to working in a collaborative manner with each other as set out in the report, and a decision is required on this. I'm going to bring the town clerk in on this matter because Councillor Councillor Nick Gray rather, did raise some concerns over actually having this commitment, and he said that it should actually be checked out by CALC or NAUC to make sure, because we as councillors, when we actually do our affirmation to the council, we actually cover most of this already. So we actually cover like the Nolan principles and the consensus to engage in civil debate and consensus. So I just speak with the town clerk about this because there were some concerns, wasn't there? So.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I did suggest that if some members were not comfortable about this being a standalone document, this could be part of a mission statement or a vision, and worked in with that. Obviously, it's not something that I've seen personally before, but it's not something that I don't think is it's not unlawful. But obviously, with NAUC and CALC, they do have quite set procedures, and this is something that certainly I think would be very good sat inside a mission statement.
Could I just
Councillor.
So just to give some background to it,
Sure.
The councillors have discussed the content. The purpose was really making it very clear that this new council will behave differently. It's trying to move on from the past and some of the behaviours that were previously seen, not just by councillors but by residents. So we wanted to build on the Nolan principles, on the Bell principles and the code of conduct. So this was a layer above that, not undermining any of those principles, but just making a clear outward statement, it will be different.
Indeed, thank you very much for that. Councillor Black.
I'd endorse what was just been said by my fellow councillor. On the doorstep, people were saying to us, we're fed up with this council and the way it's behaved. And I think this is an important personal commitment that we are making. And I do not think this should be subsumed into something else.
All right, I see. Okay then. Right. Well, from the chair, because this is a completely new document and it's not actually been written up by a qualified town clerk, I propose myself that we should get the document checked, at least by CALC, to just first of all to check. With all due respect to Councillor Chuka, it's been drawn up by a private individual. I would personally feel safer if we could run it by an organisation that we subscribe to that have legal personnel there and just check that. Would that be everybody's agreement?
So just to respond, completely agree, that's fine. but just as long as the context around it's
Indeed.
being a layer above, it's not
Sure.
not replacing anything.
No.
It is a very clear statement from us.
Indeed, sure. And we wouldn't be changing it, it would be as it is. So I'll get the town clerk to actually get somebody from Calc to check it. They actually have legal people working there, and they've got extensive knowledge going back over 30, 40 years. And then once they agree that it's perfectly okay to sign it, then we're bringing it back to the council as literally as soon as possible, and on its own merit, and not in any other document. So I'm proposing that. Would somebody like to second that? That's to check it with, thank you very much, Councillor Pennington. So all those in favour of it being checked by Calc and then brought back to this council so that it's agreed it's a legal and acceptable document. So that's all in favour of that. Thank you very much for that, Councillor, and thank you, Councillor Tutor, for your work on that already. That's very kind of you. And item number 15 is the Maddox Working Group. Members to consider the report from the Maddox Working Group and agree the appointment of councillors to the working group following the elections. There are various activities required and an agreement to progress is requested with delegated authority. And we have agreements for this one. This is attachment 9. And on this one here we have, there was 3 items on here. One was a draft survey of organisations. Second item was an executor liaison, and the third item was property, care and custody. Now I'm not going to read these all out, but basically with these ones here, it's to draft a survey to be issued to local organisations to establish if there's a need and what need for the organisation for this property. So that would be item number 1 that we'd be undertaking. Item number 2 is to ask the delegated powers for the working group to liaise with the executor on behalf of the council. And so that's quite a major thing. You're passing over the powers to a working group there. And item number 3 is to engage with heritage organisation to establish the work that needs to be undertaken and also the maintenance for like the gardening. So we can either take these items individually or we can vote en bloc on these items. Councillor Chief.
Before doing that, completely support what's contained here, but what I think for me certainly is missing is the first stage of anything around a property and its use. I don't see a feasibility study in this document. So for example, to go out to community groups, completely fine with that, but what is the offering? So for example, where is an outline business case in terms of likely cost of converting what was Georgina Maddox's home into a public building? Health and safety aspects in terms of doing that, and it's getting that all in place first, so that then you go out to the external organisations and say this is what we can offer, because if not, there may well be a mismatch.
Councillor Wiles?
Yeah, I agree with Councillor Stuker, but I think this is slightly putting the cart before the horse, because before we do any of this feasibility, we need to be sure that the property can be allowed a change of use from residential to non-residential, community use, whatever it might be. So I think the working group needs to engage with the planners at Dover District Council to see if that's a possibility, because if not, the whole thing falls apart. Secondly, we need to commission someone just to do a quick condition survey of the property and a quick sketch scheme of how it might be converted. And Jill Griffiths, who's one of the volunteers at Gaze and Salts, is willing to do that pro bono. She's a qualified architect. I mean, they could use her, they could use someone else, but obviously as a charity it's best to try and find someone who can do this free of charge. And then we can have a rough idea of what's possible, how much it's going to cost, etc. But I think that needs to be done first.
Okay. So is that a proposal you're putting forward? Councillor Franklin?
I'm the only one of the working group. The other two are away, Councillor Murray, Councillor Gray and Councillor Graham's no longer on the council. We've still got the working group, we're still working with the solicitors because we haven't got the whole estate, have we?
No.
At the moment, we would have hoped with the town clerk, we would have had the charity registered, but that hasn't been possible. Councillor Gray is leading really the legal aspects of this. I have been in contact with a lot of local people, Manwood Singers, the infant school are really interested, Gays and Salts are really interested, Nostalgic Sandwich are really interested. A lot of people are interested in it. We did have £7,000 set aside, but because of the shortage of staff and caretakers, a lot of the stuff hasn't been carried out. There's some electrical repair work to do, and it's like the gardening wanted to do. Because we did agree at one time to have the contractors in, and for some reason the contractors it wasn't confirmed because somebody had to get free prices. So it's all been a bit of a mishmash. I hope we can all move together now and get it sorted out. I'd say like mass change you take to Durham District Council, I can't see any problem to turn it into an educational establishment, a charity, and it's all there set to go, and to get the charity set up, you know, in her name, because there's no charge to the town council, it's all self-sustaining, and it'd be a wonderful item there, and it'd be nice for community use, and it won't compete with the Guildhall because the Guildhall's a lot bigger building, and that's a lot smaller, smaller one-to-ones or smaller and mental support groups, a lovely garden and everything. So there's lots of things for it. So I'm sure once we get it going, then we can get into a management committee, which would come under a bit like Monk's Walk, which would be a similar sort of committee. Okay.
Just a very quick response, Jeff, is not to lose sight of the will of Georgina Maddox, which is if it was practical. That's what she made very clear. The house to be used for the community if practical, and it's back to the point about planning, it's about all of the things that need to be done first.
Indeed, thank you for that. Okay then. So the actual report that's been put in front of us is short on the items that have been raised tonight. So what I'm suggesting then is that we actually get this report redrafted to include the items that have been raised already tonight. So that'd be a scoping document and further liaison with, Town Clerk, did you get the name of the lady that was mentioned? Yes. You did, oh super for that. So I'm proposing that this report is brought back with the items that have been raised tonight, and then we can vote on that. Could we vote it through with amendments?
Yeah.
Would that be okay? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm proposing those amendments so that we can vote it through tonight, so we can get things moving even quicker. So you'll be voting on the paper that you see before you, plus the amendments that have come from Councillor Chuka and Councillor Wiles as well tonight. I'd need somebody to second that proposal. Councillor Morehouse.
Sorry.
Are you voting on?
Mr. Mayor, the first part of this recommendation is to confirm the membership.
Oh, beg your pardon.
Which I'm not clear.
Yeah.
I'm not clear who the members are, or whether we can add
Did
members.
we have that somewhere?
The appointment of councillors to the working group following the election. Yeah, so it's whoever wants to volunteer, who's being appointed.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure who.
No, that's right. Yeah, so thank you for that, Councillor Wiles. Yeah, so we do actually have to appoint members to this working group first as well, and this will be the paper, the names of the volunteers that we will be going forward, and the amendments that were made by the two councillors tonight. I do suggest that it's not too top heavy as a working group, so I would suggest say 5. How many have you got currently, Councillor Franklin?
Well, at the moment, because it's just a working group dealing with the solicitors basically, the legal aspect of it, there was just the four of us, there's Councillor Graham, Councillor Gray, Councillor Meek and myself, and the town, the RFO, and also we did have the other town clerk.
We need
so it'd be nice to keep, if we can, the councillors left on it, and then the new councillors.
Can I propose a councillor who's not here? Because Councillor Breen is has already made it very clear he would like to be on the working group, and I don't know if you would support
Yeah,
that.
I was going to say, Mr Mayor, because Councillor Graham, I was going to suggest that Councillor Breen, and he's very interested.
His next door neighbour
Next door
to the
neighbour.
property.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can do that. can they?
Yeah, if they have a conversation with them, yeah.
So, sorry, just to clarify,
Yeah.
the existing members is Councillor Franklin, Councillor Gray, the
Councillor
RFO,
Murray. Yeah, the RFO, yeah, Councillor Murray.
Councillor Murray, thank you.
Yeah. Councillor Graham's left because he's not on the council.
Yes.
Yeah, Councillor Graham, that's
Yeah,
it.
just a
Councillor
working
Gray,
group,
yeah.
just
So is that 4, is it?
1, 2, 3. Yes, 4.
Oh, brilliant, okay.
And the RFO.
Oh, right, okay then. So, can I just read those out to you? So the proposed members of this working group is Councillor Gray, Councillor Franklin, it will be the RFO, obviously, for the matter of the wheel, Councillor Breen and Councillor Marie. So we're now putting forward the proposal, and I need somebody to second it, that those councillors, this report and the amendments made by the 2 councillors will be voted on when somebody seconds it. So I think, was it Councillor Morehouse second? Did you second this? Thank you very much. So all those in favour of this proposal, please. So everybody, thank you very much for that. Item number 16, standing orders working group terms of reference. Members are invited to consider the draft terms of reference for the standing orders working group, attachment number 10, and a decision is needed on this tonight. And the recommendations are, as the NAUC approach would not eliminate the concerns expressed on the attached notes of the meeting, the working group strongly recommends that the independent approach is followed. Councillor Gray has already done considerable work investigating this approach, and the working group agree that this is the approach that should be followed. That's item recommendation 1. Recommendation 2 is additionally the what's that on there? The acronym.
Or the working party.
Oh, working
I
party.
think it's working party.
Oh, it's meant to be working party. Recommends that the establishment of a permanent human resources committee is to be included within the new terms of reference. And item number 3 is that Sandwich Town Council is asked to approve the terms of reference and the direction taken by the working party to date. So if you have any concerns with those, you can discuss them individually, or I propose that we vote en bloc on those recommendations unless anybody has a particular issue with those 3 recommendations. So did anybody want to second the adoption of that, or those recommendations? Councillor Black? Thank you very much. And can we vote in favour of the recommendations from attachment 10, please? All those in favour?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, item number 17, Kent Resilience Team. The Kent Resilience Team are setting up a community resilience group meeting, and the chair of the group has suggested that a representative from Sandwich Town Council might like to join due to the work undertaken on STC on coastal flooding, and a decision is required for this matter. So I don't know if you know, Kent Resilience Team are based up in the KCC. I actually worked with them previously, and the Kent Resilience Team deal with all natural disasters and other issues like that. So just in case there isn't any volunteers, I'm quite prepared to put myself forward for this, having worked with them before, but if anybody else had a burning requirement. Councillor Mallet?
I'd certainly be interested in volunteering.
Oh, okay then, all right. Okay.
I don't want to take it away from you.
Oh no, a good volunteer is worth having, so we assign Councillor Mallet to that. So there may be, I just hasten to add, there may be meetings up in Maidstone, is that okay? That's super, that's fine, thank you.
So is that everyone agreed on that?
Oh yeah, I was just going to do that one. So could I have somebody to second the appointment of Councillor Mallet, that's Councillor Morehouse, And all those in favour of Councillor Mallet taking up that position? That's all in favour, thank you very much. Okay, item number 18 is the Highways Improvement Plan for Sandwich Town Council, and Councillor Morehouse seeks a debate on the Highways Improvement Plan from STC. This is attachment number 11. And can I just speak on this first of all? Previously, just so that everybody's aware of this, the Highways Improvement Plan, previously when we had any issues with the roads in Sandwich, councillors used to raise individual issues with the roads. So they would say, for instance, a prime example is there's a bus stop that is too close to a road junction and it needs to be addressed. And councillors raise these. For 16 years I've worked on transport to the nth degree, and so I raised quite a lot of these. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, I was told by our KCC representative that there was something called a HIP, which is a Highways Improvement Plan. And what it is it collectively brings all the issues together from all the councillors, and they're brought together annually and then presented to Kent County Council in one go. And then Kent County Council will consider all those issues, and then they will be prioritised, and the most important issues would then be addressed first. So for instance, if we needed a zebra crossing or pelican crossing next to a school or an old people's home, that would get greater priority perhaps than renewing the white lines in the roads, so things like that. So I will now hand over to Councillor Morehouse. Now I've given you an explanation of what a HIP is. So thank you, Councillor Morehouse.
Right, first of all, referring to attachment 11, which is dated October 2021, I noticed on page 2, I believe that that's now part of the Disability Access Strategy.
That's correct.
Between Pillory Gate and...
That is correct.
So that can now be taken off.
Taken off of the HIP,
because I believe
indeed.
there's a budget for that. What I need to find out is what are the criteria for this? How many were allowed per year?
Right, okay.
Because it's not clear. From what I've heard that we came up with a list of about, let's say for example, argument's sake, 10. We were then referred back and had to reduce it down to 5, and it ended up with just 1.
Yes, I'm putting my hand up. That's a very good boy. Yeah, I can answer that, Councillor Morehouse. When the original HIP came in, as I say, I think that's 2 or 3 years ago, we collectively had a discussion in the council chamber, and from about 30 issues, we were told to reduce it down to 15. Yeah, it's probably a lot more actually, Councillor Friend. So we had a large number of road highways issues, and then we were told that a meeting would be arranged with a highways officer and the Kent County Councillor, and so we were told to present 15 items. At the meeting we had with the highways officer and KCC councillor, we were then told to get it down to 5, a top 5. So we presented them with only 5 issues, which proved great disappointment to a lot of councillors who in their particular areas had issues or concerns, and so it went down to 5. But in fact, in the end, when we were told that Sandwich Town Council would have to pay for these individual items, some of the items were very, very expensive. It was brought down to particularly one item was put forward, and that item was a collective of all the areas that needed parking restrictions or lines. So single or double yellow lines, or the zigzag lines near to zebra crossings and things like that. So that was taken forward, that item was taken forward, and from my recollection, a budget was put forward for that. Councillor Morehouse, over to you.
So do we have a budget? Do we know what the budget is?
Right, I see. I don't personally, Town Clerk.
I haven't had an opportunity to speak to the RFO about that, but I can certainly feed that back to members. Yeah.
And this is the budget from KCC, not for us to pay for ourselves. Highways is a KCC responsibility, so we should be able to push that back to KCC.
Yeah, the budget was actually our budget.
And we need to identify we don't, no point in coming up with a list of 15 things. We can only have, if only 5 can be considered.
That's
So my
correct.
suggestion is that we identify 5 highways improvements, and that's not highways maintenance, this is improvements that I think are going to structurally improve the traffic flow, ease congestion, and then from there, to go to KCC and get them to give us the estimated cost of each of these improvements. We
Indeed.
can make a decision on maybe 1 or 2. I'm assuming that these highways improvements run yearly from May to May to accommodate the KCC term of office.
That's right. They do indeed, that's correct. That's right.
So that's my proposal. Come up with 5 via email, via whatever, working group,
Indeed.
and get those costed and then make a decision from the council. So at least once per year we've got 1 tangible highways improvement we can deliver for the residents of Sandwich. Thank you.
Indeed, thank you very much for that. So, Councillor Ripley?
I'm not awfully clear on this. Are we saying that they determine, KCC or whoever it is, determine what we can do, but we have to pay for it?
Right, yeah, so I can answer that because I've been through this once already previously. So basically, yeah, we would put a list of our top 5 priorities forward. As Councillor Morehouse said, they would price those up, and then it would be up to Sandwich Town Council to come up with the budget or costings to take the improvement ahead. And can I just explain before I bring anybody else in? So as Councillor Morehouse was alluding to, these are improvements to road safety or the roads. They're not actually, perhaps say like the white lines that go up and down the middle of the road, or if say a traffic sign is knocked over by a vehicle, or you may have seen quite a lot of them are actually going rusty and they're falling over. So if it was something that was existing already there, a stop sign, and it fell over or was struck by a vehicle, then KCC have to pay for that as a matter of course. But if we said we wanted an illuminated stop sign or something flashing, which we've had before, that was one of the ones we've had before, and Councillor, we had Leyland Ridings with our KCC councillor, and out by the Sandwich Technology School, out of his own budget, he funded a speed indicator. So near this technology school, where you've got a 40-mile-an-hour limit, it warned people that the school was in operation. So if you go out there while the school's in operation, you will see a flashing sign that says please slow down. So can I go to Councillor Tuker first, please?
Can I just suggest we start from a different place on this? This makes very little sense to most of us here, I would have thought. The process is unclear. The money available, unclear. What we need, I think, is an understanding of what it is we're being asked to do. The end result will be a product, but we don't start with a product and try and decipher what it's about. So my suggestion is through either direct engagement, KCC come and talk to us as a group. If that's not possible, we somehow get briefed in terms of what we're going to be asked to do, because in my view, it's pointless setting off on a series of activities that people get very disappointed about at the end of the process.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Pennington?
Yes, thank you. I have a general issue, which is that I think localism in this country is pretty past when we can't even decide as a town council where we want double yellow lines. And we have to go to Maidstone to ask somebody if we can have double yellow lines in a particular place. I think this town council should have both the common sense and the resources to do that job itself. Having said that, I agree with the line that we need to get our act together to work within the current system maybe and be a bit more streetwise as to how to mobilise these resources. At the moment we have 2 issues where I've learnt about major plans from KCC relating to Sandwich only by hearsay or by the newspapers, and I think we need to know a lot more. I think we have the right to know as a town council from KCC what it is they're thinking about what they're proposing, and you never know, we might even be able to help them.
Can I just reply to Councillor Pennington? So from my vast experience of transport is in this country, even if you want to put a stop sign up, you have to have something called a road traffic order, RTO. So this council has not got any powers to deal with any transport or traffic issues. We can't put any signs up. We can't say where we want white lines put down. So we do have to liaise 100% with the Highways Department. So if that's right, and Councillor Friend is obviously knowledgeable about this. Oh, Councillor Friend, did you want to?
The only point that I'd make, Mr Mayor, is please include the town team. Obviously, as you know, you work with them quite closely.
Indeed.
With the traffic survey that
Indeed.
the residents.
That's a good point.
If you are setting up a working group, then yeah, include district councillors and the county councillor in there.
Indeed, thank you for that. So Councillor Morehouse, at this present time, I don't want to go into any more discussion on this because we could go on for hours here. Councillor Morehouse, you put a proposal on the table. You can either stick to your present proposal or you can amend it.
What Councillor Schuker said.
Okay then. Right, so okay. So could we just reiterate what we're voting on? I need somebody to propose. You proposed it. I need a seconder. Would you be a seconder, Councillor Schuker? Okay. So could you just both say what you're actually proposing so it can go forward?
Yes. So I'm proposing that we start from a different place, which is to engage with KCC to inform us as a group what it is that we're going to be asked to provide to them, so that we can actually set off on the right foot with a sensible bid, that we understand the ramifications of making that bid, and hopefully actually go in with a bid that is got a really high percentage of success.
Okay. And does that cover your proposal, Councillor Morehouse?
I'll second that.
Okay then, that's superb there. So based on that proposal that we've just heard tonight, it's been proposed and seconded. All those in favour, please show. Okay, so that's unanimous. Thank you very much for that. That's very helpful. Thank you for bringing that report to us, Councillor Morehouse. That's very useful. Item number 19 is the Guildhall Forecourt Working Group. Members to consider a report from Councillor Wiles. This is attachment number 12, and a decision is required on the working group. So I believe that's it's proposed to revert on the membership, and that's it, and an action plan is required. Detached. So the recommendations, in view of the tight timescales, it is recommended that A, the membership of the working group should be Councillors Marie, Wiles, Breen, Mallet and Ungerson, with Steve Laslett as a co-optee, and B, the working group be given full delegated authority to draw up and implement an action plan for the new Guildhall forecourt, covering all aspects of handover, lettings, equipment, signage, safety and the revamped market. Now, my own opinion is that obviously the working group would have to bring that back to full council for that action plan to be agreed.
Yeah.
So, if that's okay. So I would say that item number B is that the working group be given full delegated authority after the action plan has been brought forward to full council. So that might need to be amended. Are you okay with that? Yeah. So I need somebody to propose and second that.
Sorry. Can I just
Indeed.
make one comment?
Yes,
Having looked at the terms of reference, Councillor Wiles, that's included, it wasn't clear to me that there's something that relates to the commitment of the current contractors beyond the handover. So, for example, if there are problems identified, does that go into the standard process, or is there a period in which actually there's a quicker route, snagging, that means that we can actually call back? So it would be unfortunate if there are problems that very quickly and we actually have to go into a far more deep process.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you very much for that. Councillor Wiles?
Yeah, the reason for this is obviously that time is tight. You can all see the forecourt. We've been told the completion date will be mid-June. Whether that's realistic, we don't know. We tried to get the project officer to come to this meeting. The meeting on Wednesday, the annual town meeting, Roger Walton will be coming along, so hopefully he can give us a more realistic view of the timescale. The critical event is the Folk and Ale Festival, which is the weekend of the 1st, 2nd of July. It must be completed by then, otherwise that festival will end up losing considerable amounts of money, and the whole thing will have to be rescheduled in other parts of the town. So that's critical. But the reason for this is we can't bring it back to the action plan, we can't bring it back to the June meeting because by then it will be too late. That's why we're asking for delegated authority. There's no budgetary implications, it's just a case of Councillor Marie, who was previously elected to lead this working party before the election, taking on this work, working with the 5 councillors and Steve Laslett, who are listed here, and just coming up with an action plan to implement. I mean, if necessary, we might have to have an extraordinary meeting, but we're asking for that working group to be given delegated authority just to get on with the job and make sure that the forecourt is properly brought into use as and when it's finished.
Sure, yeah, that's okay.
Including the markets, of course, which is...
That's, of course, and that. I'm still sticking to the point, I think that the action plan should be brought back to this council. It always has been in the past, so any action plan should be brought forward so that the full council could vote on that, and that's what we all agreed when we joined the council. So I would propose that it says that the action plan is brought forward either to an extraordinary meeting if time didn't allow, or at the worst option would be the June meeting. So, Councillor Black, did you have?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been told very clearly that it's going to be far too late to bring it to the regular meeting. So you either have to give them the delegated powers, or now set up an extraordinary meeting. It's one of the two.
That's
seems to me.
Its action plans have always been brought back to full council before they're agreed. So the proposal is...
I understand that. However, given the timescale, I suggest that we need to be a little bit more flexible about these matters.
That's what I'm standing by protocol. That's what's actually happened before. So an extraordinary meeting can be raised.
I think that's obviously the route.
I'm not sure what protocol you're referring to. I can't see any problem in a working group being given the task of doing a job which has no budgetary implications.
Yeah, I've never known an action plan be not agreed by full council before.
Could we not set a precedent?
What would be your opinions?
Well, if it's an action plan, as Councillor Boyle said, there's no budgetary implications, no expenditure implications, then obviously members could take that option to actually give them delegated powers to do the action plan. I appreciate it might have been done before, but it is something that you can consider to do.
I didn't really want to, if these will have to be very quick, so returns, so Councillor Pennington.
Thank you, Chair. The working group presumably has a limited lifespan.
Indeed,
Would it be appropriate for them to adopt a provisional working action plan for the rest of its life, 2 or 3 months, and then to submit it to full council? I'm trying to think of a solution that might cover your concern without holding things up.
That's true, that's a good point there. So, sorry, Councillor Morehouse, wasn't it?
The concern about timescales, if the Folk and Ale Festival is affected by any delay, that's a lot of reputational damage it will cause, not just financial.
That's right. I did actually have Councillor Mallet next, sorry. If I do you in
Councillor Pennington has said what I was going to say.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Councillor Wiles, please.
I think the key part of this is the actual process by which the completed square is handed over to Sandwich Town Council. And if that's in mid or towards the end of June, then clearly we need, the council needs to have a process by which that can legally happen. Or the appendix which Councillor Breen has written, who has experience of this project management, we're talking about snagging and all the arrangements for maintenance of the square and how it's to be used.
Of course.
Legally, we need to be able to be in a position to take that on from DDC.
Of course.
And that can't wait for a full council meeting.
No, of course. Well, I've had the town clerk's reassurance to go ahead with that, so we can take these two recommendations now. I need a proposer and seconder for these.
Excuse me, what is the concrete proposal that is now being made?
On the advice of the town clerk, we can go forward with the recommendations that were put forward before the council as set out on the agenda. So it just needs to.
These two.
That's it for items A and B there. So I just need it proposed and second proposed. And are you seconding?
Yes.
Councillor Tuke. Okay. All those in favour? One abstention. Okay. Thank you very much. That's been passed. Thank you. Item number 20, proposed action plan for STC. Members to consider a report from Colin Wiles, and the decision is required on this. This is attachment number 13, and this is for the first 6 months of the new council, and this is once again an action plan that's being put forward by one individual councillor, and the council's asked to discuss the above and confirm it as an action plan for the council. Now, once again, this is one councillor's view, so what I'm just putting forward here is we thank Councillor Wiles for putting this forward, but this might not be the definitive action plan for the next 6 months for the whole council. So I will open the floor to discussion. You can either accept this as it is, or you can make another suggestion that things are added to it, or that it's taken to some other meeting thereafter. Councillor Wiles.
Yes, it is my proposal, but I refer to the earlier item about the collaboration statement. We have all been talking as a group of 16 councillors, and we're all determined to work together.
That's it, yeah.
I think there's only 4 of us in this room,
yeah,
plus Councillor Friend, who endured the full horror of the last 15 months or so. Yeah. So this is really trying to turn over a new leaf, and saying we have to do better in the next 6 months, and it's really a statement of intent.
Indeed.
These are just really my ideas, which have been discussed with lots of other councillors as well.
Indeed.
But they're up for discussion. But I think we as a council really need to say how we mean to go on. And that's the purpose of this.
Yeah, I think before I come to you, Councillor Tudor, what I'm saying is if one particular group or party within the council have discussed this separately, that group need to bring that for the whole council to discuss. So I'm 100% behind you, Councillor Wiles, and like Councillor Franklin, I've been through a dreadful 2 years previously. But if one group discusses this, we have to bring it so that everybody on the council has that opportunity. Because when you say it's been discussed, I mean, I've not been a party to any discussions on these myself. So it was perhaps a separate group that have discussed these. So, but, indeed, Councillor Tuke.
Yes, so my only point is to add to the list, unfortunately, but we can't miss out on the Richborough site. I think that has to be included, because particularly if it gets agreed and we take it, for example, to the meeting later this week, that would be an error not to have it on.
That's a fantastic, that's a good point. So that's a good point there. So it's open for discussion. So this Councillor Wiles has really given us the skeleton of an action plan, but if anybody else has got any items that need to be added, bear in mind 2 things. One thing, this is time limited, 6 months. And second item is that currently, depending on notice periods and that, we only have a part-time town clerk. So the action plan should be considered to be based on our current staffing. So please, let's not make it impossible there. Councillor Morehouse. first?
Yeah, referring to item 1, a lot of this is based upon the appointment of the qualified town clerk. So once we've got that in progress, then we should be able to motor through this at a reasonable pace. I'm not suggesting particularly quickly, but regarding item 9, reopening the tourist office without delaying its old location, well, that's subject to debate. We may not be able to do that, in which case we might have to find another. So that can't be set in stone, but I'm sure Councillor Wiles will agree to this amendment that potentially that may change according to what comes out of the tourist working group that we set up 6 months ago.
So, yeah. Councillor Black.
I make the point that actually, just even in the 2 meetings that I've attended, we've actually started a whole number of these things already. I mean, appointment for town clerk, looking at the Georgina Maddox, looking at terms of reference for standing orders, and a fair number of these are already in motion. And I fail to see why we cannot adopt this.
Yeah, I wasn't saying we weren't going to adopt it. It's just that it must be open to discussion by the full council. Councillor Franklin.
I wasn't part of this group either, unlike you, an independent councillor. I'm not very happy over it really, because normally you have the mayor making, and after the mayor making, the mayor stands up to respond, and he generally says what he wants to do in the civic year. And you did cover a lot of these points yourself. Your 4-page speech.
Yes, yeah.
But a lot of them, like Councillor Black said, we've already started a lot of these, and I don't think the time constraint, you can't do it all in 6 months, it's too much pressure, we haven't got the staff. And as for this one here, item 9, I'm totally against this. We had so many discussions that tourist information used to be open 6 months of the year. It wasn't open 7 months, 12 months of the year, 6 months of the year that was open. And that's the reason why we moved it into the foyer. We had staff and it was open 7 days a week, 12 months a year apart from holidays. And it also, the staff there weren't just tourist information, they did the bookings, they did the hall hire, they did secretarial work. So it was a full-time staffing. That there was part-time staff in 6 months of the year, and a lot of the time she just twiddled her thumbs. So I'm totally against this. I think we should keep it there. We've got a beautiful forecourt. We can get the flags up this side here so people can, oh look, tourist information. Flags the other side, they come from the railway station, they come from the car park. There it is, tourist information. Not on that corner, out of sight. I know it's going to take a little while to get the bus up, but that is also very important, the doorway for weddings. So when there's a wedding hire on, you don't want people suddenly going in there wondering if the wedding, actually well, the wedding's on, because you can't have doors shut during the wedding, it has to be open, doesn't it? So I'm totally against item 9, tourist information should stay in the foyer and get the staff back on there. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Franklin. So can we, anybody that does want to discuss this, because this is quite an important document, for the next, we're saying for the next 6 months we will be undertaking these items. So if anybody has got anything to say it now, because we're going to be voting on this in a minute. So, has anybody else got anything else to
Mayor, I
mention?
also think it's too short time span. It's
Indeed.
too short with the staffing levels.
That's for the council to
So,
decide.
yeah, I think we should.
Councillor Pennington, did you need to?
Thank you. I strongly welcome the idea of an action plan. When I looked through this list, I thought, I felt really encouraged, but I am still a bit reticent because of the resources. We do manage this place, and I think we have to manage it in terms of what we can deliver. If it's an aspirational issue, we could go through the list and check them off one by one. But I think it maybe needs a bit more consideration. But I welcome the initiative. I think it's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Morehouse, last one.
Suppose we accept, and then we do a gap analysis after 6 months to see where we are.
So that's a proposal, yeah? So, okay. Did anybody want to second that? You're seconding that, Councillor White? Oh, you're speaking,
Can
then.
I say? I mean, I think we need to be ambitious, first of all. I don't think 6 months is unrealistic, given that a lot of these things have already started.
Yes,
We've got the interviews for the permanent town clerk on the 9th of June.
That's right.
But the idea of this is just really, as I said, a statement of intent that we can take to the meeting on Wednesday and say this is what we would like to do
Indeed.
to the public, to the town.
That's right.
We're a new council. We have a new determination to move forward.
Indeed.
That's the idea of it.
So are you seconding Councillor Morehouse's proposal?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. So,
Yeah,
one last.
This annual town meeting is actually for the civic year 22-23. This is what happened.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, when I was mayor, because of staffing problems, I asked the staff to invite the KCC, the DDC representatives. She said she was going to do it, and then she went on holiday for the week. When she come back, it was too late, and then we was into purdah then. So this is not. It's not what happened in the future. This is what happened the last previous civic year.
Indeed.
So we have never talked about the future. That is what the mayor does, but mayor making.
Yeah.
That's my point, Mr. Mayor.
Thank
I
you
still
very
think
much.
I'm against too much information.
Thank you very much for that, Councillor Franklin. So that's all the discussion on that. We've had a proposal and a seconder, so now we're voting. Those in favour for this action plan, please show your cards. So, thank you. Yeah, so that motion is carried. Thank you very much. Item number 20. Have we got confidential STDF?
No.
We haven't. Right, then. Okay. So item number 21 is confidential matters under the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960, extended by Section 100 of the Local Government Act 1972. Thank you, Councillor Friend. The public may be excluded from the meeting for the following items of business on the grounds that they involve the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in Part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972 by virtue of the paragraphs specified against the item.
Mr. Mayor.
Could I propose that this be taken at the end of the Tollbridge Fund agenda? Because otherwise...
Can be, yeah. You
Christina
have
will
to.
have to leave the
We
room.
have to vote to say all those in favour of taking it to the end of Tollbridge Fund.
Yeah, thank you.
We have to follow protocol. Thank you. That's right. That's okay. We can do that. We can take that to the end of the. And so that's occasion 1 and 2. And the date of the next full council meeting will be Monday, the 26th of June, 2023.